Hey everybody, welcome to science class for Tuesday and Wednesday. And let me just get my face off of Kelly Kapoor for a second. There we go. Okay, learning from home be like, guess who just became the cutest girl at school? I'd like to say I'm the cutest teacher, but my wife is here, so I'm the cutest teacher down here on this floor of the house. Um, April 14th is National Dolphin Day, National Ex-Spouse Day. That means like having a nice, people get divorced. If you do, you have a nice relationship with that person. National Gardening Day. I'm working on my garden right now, actually. It's almost clear of all the weeds. National Pan American Day, National Pecan Day, National Reach as High as You Can Day, and National Look Up at the Sky Day. The sky is beautiful. And then tomorrow, or today, if you have class on Wednesday, April 15th, National Glazed Spiral Ham Day. Hey, you may have had one of those for Easter. National Rubber Eraser Day, National Take a Wild Guess Day, National Tax Day. So taxes are usually due, like the income tax forms that your parents will fill out, and one day you'll fill out, maybe with the help of H&R Block or an accountant or TurboTax or one of those things. But they pushed it back this year due to the coronavirus. Now I believe July 15th. And then also Titanic Remembrance Day. The Titanic sank 108 years ago today. Okay, when we look at our conferences, if you hop on our conferences, I'll give you a shout out. Nicole, I saw, and Dante on Monday, and then we have our Zoom. We had our Zoom meeting on Friday. I'm really pushing the teachers. Let's have like a full on like team meeting with awards and all that kind of stuff. I'm trying to squeeze them into it. Getting into retakes, if you want to retake your test, you just have to do the quizzes and earn a 70% and also have no more than one missing assignment from our topic. Okay. Um, Last class, when we did the Explore article, we were reading you picked an article, one of these seven to read, and you summarized it. Here are some of those, and I stole them from you without your permission, so giving you a shout out, so you're getting paid in that. McKenna K wrote a fabulous paragraph about the biotic and abiotic stressors on plants. Plants experience stressors, everything from bacteria to weeds to water, obviously. All those things can affect, and that's one of the big topics of this is what are some either genetic factors for growth and what are some environmental factors? And this would be an environmental factor because we're looking at biotic and abiotic things, living and non-living things around it that would impact their growth. Then Sean wrote about the 2,624-year-old tree. That obviously would be genetics. There's lots of bald cypresses around that same area that are just as old or really close to it in age. And then Laney read about the FDA okaying salmon with genetically modified genes in order to grow faster. And some of you who did this article said, "Oh, I think it's a good thing." Some people said it's a bad thing. And guess what? You fell right in line with what people are debating with their food. Do we want to allow genetically modified food? Do we not? Do we want to make sure it's labeled so people know? Because if you look at a tomato, you can't tell whether its genes have been changed around, maybe with a jellyfish. And if you remember, we read about the Echoria victoria. That's gene modification. When you're inserting one species genes into another to change one of their traits. Some people think it probably isn't the safest thing. Other people say, yeah, it's just genes. We're just changing the instructions slightly. So there's an ongoing debate about that. Hutto wrote about this giant sequoia that was planted. I believe John Muir planted that sequoia. Where was that in? I can't. He didn't write it in here. But it was really doing not so well. Sequoias grow really tall. I think it was somewhere like 120 or 130 years old, and they moved it, and so that was an environmental factor. Um, Obviously, it can live for a really long time and grow really big. That would be genetic, but it was in this bad location. It was kind of like a wind tunnel, as Hutto puts it. Then Matthew wrote about schoolyard conflicts becoming health problems later in life, and that is true. Um, Things happen in your body, and that would be an environmental factor. And then Pejola wrote about potatoes, and they're using one set of genes and inputting them into other potatoes, the genes from one potato into other ones, so they don't rot as soon. And so that would prolong how long potatoes are good for. But again, genetic modification. So it's kind of a controversial topic. And then ultraviolet radiation. How does it affect life on Earth? There's UVA and UVB rays. UVB rays are what you wear sunscreen to protect against because it can give you skin cancer. It also decreases photosynthesis in plants. So that would definitely be a um, environmental factor. And thank you, Grady, for writing a fabulous paragraph. If you want to read any of their wonderful paragraphs, you can stop it. This gets into us into a long debate. Is it nature or is it nurture? So nature would be genetics and hereditary factors, things like how what you look like, your personality, that would come from your genes, from your parents. Then nurture is kind of what happened in your environment. And again, this one could come from your parents too, because your parents have a relationship, but it's not just the genes, it's the way that you're treated. And so when we've looked at everything from being really like a genius, like Albert Einstein, well, was it nature or was it nurture? Most of these debates, it's somewhere in between, right? I'm sorry, Michael Jordan could not have been Michael Jordan. LeBron James could not have been LeBron James if they were born 4'2". I'm sorry, it wouldn't have happened. Um, and so obviously there's some nature, and there's definitely a lot of nurture. It's do you put in the work to do all that? And people have been debating this for a long time, and we're kind of scratching into that debate. When we look at our work for today, first of all, we have this daily science video in Google Classroom, then the lesson 3 Pear Deck. I'll explain that in a second. And then I have study guide resources. And so the study guide, there's only one in there right now. It is the Quizlet. If you are like really struggling with the vocabulary, that's a good resource to start with. Um, and then extra, the team Flipgrid today is if you've been working on becoming a better person, working on some new cool skills, share those with us. I haven't really been working on being a better person, but I have been getting a lot of stuff done around the house. Maybe that's next. After I finish the house, work on me. And then I added this down here. It says click for the daily, okay, every other day puzzle. And so the daily puzzle will be there, and there will be a spot for you to put your name and your answer. And if you're right, I'll give you a shout out. And this is our daily puzzle for today. So if you want to pause, you can pause. I'm going to move on though. Um, so lesson 3 is really easy. It's just reading the STEMscopedia. There's a question. There's another question. There's this thing. We're just matching which of these vocabulary words fits which of these definitions. And all of these, you can go back and read the STEMscopedia if you're stuck. And then there's a little draw or type about how a plant would respond. So you just kind of draw in there, and then you're done. I've been really looking at the amount of work I'm assigning and making sure it fits. After many people answered on their survey, I'm trying to keep it about a half hour. That's my goal. And so I've been surveying you guys every day, but when I was looking at overall, we had a lot of people in that 4 to 5 hour category, and I'm thinking that's just too much. So I'm doing my part to try to cut back a little bit. So if you have any questions, come see me on Schoology conferences. Email me. One thing you should know is as I'm grading assignments that are late, I'm just doing those in the morning. I was obsessed with getting those grades in all the time, and I really wasn't getting anything done. And so I've decided I'm just going to kind of do that once every day, right in the morning. So if you have any questions, let me know and have a fabulous day.